Paw'dCats Sports.
Welcome back to Paw'dCats Sports, where the lavender runs deep and the claws come out sharp. Benny Lay Wildcat here.
Yes, that's me. Yes.
Are
Hola.
you still catching your breath after that wild one in the Little Apple?
Catching my breath? Well, honestly, I was never in panic mode. But after you've seen 1,347,986 football games, the blood doesn't boil as much as it used to. And close games do not make me nearly as nervous as they did in, say, the 1990s. So I'm good, man. I'm good. I hope all of K-State Nation's good.
I
Week
don't
one.
know.
Week one, man. Let's
All
talk.
1,300,214 of those fans? I don't know.
I think you're off by a few numbers, but hey, man, let's cuss, let's discuss, let's figure this out.
All right, I'm Outlet Cat, trying to figure out how we went from a 10-point fourth quarter lead to praying Avery Johnson would pull off a miracle. Spoiler alert, he did, but barely.
Yeah, if you haven't seen the game yet,
Don't watch it.
You don't need to. Just throw that VHS in the trash.
Just look at the final score, 38-35. Kansas State survived, didn't dominate, didn't cruise, survived. So let's get into it.
Yeah, you know what this game reminded me of?
What?
We beat Ohio, I think, in 1997, if I'm not mistaken. And I believe that was 23-20.
97, and then we only lost one game that year.
Correct, yes.
Interesting.
So go back and watch the film on that one, youngsters. Like Kleiman said, it's not easy to win. Don't take it for granted.
That year we went to the Cotton Bowl, and I think 2011 we only beat Eastern Kentucky or Western Kentucky 10-7.
Correct.
The year after that, we only beat North Texas by 14.
Yeah, Oklahoma State's done this a few times too, where they either lost to an FCS team in like week one, rolled off 10 or 11 straight, or played it close, ended up winning 10, 11, 12 games. We've done it before. It can happen again.
Let's get into it. If you
Yes.
listen to our pregame pod, we expect fireworks. We got them,
Get ready to roll.
but not the kind we wanted.
No, they were drones, man. They were drones.
It's drones. There were some fireworks.
It makes sense. Do you think that's the reason the one drone went down? Got hit by some
Got
shrapnel.
hit by some shrapnel
Maybe.
fireworks? Possibly.
We'll get to that at the end of the episode. Let's dive into the game, brother.
All right, segment one, the escape. Let's start with the obvious. Kansas State blew a 10-point lead in the fourth.
Blew it!
Yeah, what does that say about the team's mental state right now?
That's two straight fourth quarters where they've looked pretty suspect on defense. I'm hoping that the defense takes that as a challenge, especially the dudes at the second and third levels, the secondary, some big struggles. But the front 3-4 as well. Their performance was decent, but yeah, it's a wake-up call for the defense, especially the secondary.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned about our run defense. They were gashing us just like Carson Hansen was in that second half or fourth quarter of Iowa State game, and then little old number 9 in this game, I can't remember his name, was just beating us.
Sawyer.
Seidel.
He had 8 carries for 62 yards. They only finished with 102 as a team. But I think the QB took some big losses. So that factors into it.
Yeah, Seidel was quicker, man. It seemed like he was more conditioned or had fresher legs, just gashing us there at the end of the game.
Agreed, and it makes me wonder, too, if we do have issues at the second level. We know that the middle linebacker, of course, Austin Romaine, had a big day. He had 10 tackles, 7 solo, and 1.5 for loss. Purnell, 6 tackles, 5 by himself. those two guys obviously are going to have to account for the majority of those run stops. And I don't, the numbers don't indicate anything suspect. But if you watch the game, of course, we saw otherwise. So.
Moving on to Avery Johnson. We threw the ball 43 times. Avery Johnson went 28 for 43, 318 yards, 3 touchdowns. Career highs, basically across the board. Is that stat line masking deeper issues?
There are definitely some underlying issues, and I think Avery alluded to it in the quote that you put on the YouTube uh, video that we got going. But he is on pace for 30 touchdowns and no interceptions, but he's going to have to get lucky 30 more times to not throw any more picks because almost 3 passes were picked in this game. He was on pace for 3,500 yards, which would be an improvement, and that's just in the initial 12 games. That would not be including the bowl game. So we are on the right track, but certainly Avery's got some work to do keeping the ball out of harm's way. I wonder if sometimes he's narrowly missing interceptions because of his confidence as opposed to his assertiveness.
For me, I think it is his confidence, but it's his confidence in his O line. If you look at the Iowa State game and the North Dakota game, we're getting a lot. Their D lines are getting a lot of pressure on Avery Johnson, and he's only taken 2 sacks, which is very impressive. So from my standpoint, I think Avery is playing great, but he's just having to make those reads way too quick and trying to release it, with somebody there, but he's throwing it short, kind of getting a little nervous, kind of getting it out too quick.
Yeah, and to your point, man, he's definitely improved in that area in terms of getting rid of the ball and just throwing it away when there's nothing available and getting outside the pocket when he needs to. I just want to see him be a little more decisive when he's running the ball and or making the decision to pull it and run. And also, of course, more assertive with his passing. If you're gonna, I'd rather see you throw a pick because you're trying to really throw a rope into a tight window as opposed to throw a pick because you're just not confident, not assertive. So I may have got those two words a little mixed up. They go hand in hand. They're not opposing one another. Confidence and assertiveness. Let's see more of it. But it's a tough game back there behind center. You know this. There are 21 other moving parts and a lot of voices on the sidelines coming at you. Not an easy thing to do. But Avery, junior year, plenty of experience. It's time to take that step.
And we've seen this before from Avery on his 81-yard game-winning drive to prove he's ready to lead under that pressure. What upsets me a little bit is that we kind of need those clutch moments to get in the end zone, and it seemed like this week and last week it was whenever they score, oh now we need to score. It's not just score the damn ball.
Yeah, I think he clearly knew his assignment on that last drive, and he put all that other extra noise aside and just focused on getting the job done. And once we can clear that extra noise out, get out of our head a little bit, some of that has to do, of course, with gelling with a new coordinator and some new receivers and new personnel on the line. But I think once Avery just focuses on the task at hand, just gets straight down to the business, then he'll be effective on more drives than not, and certainly earlier in the game as opposed to just late.
So do we think that his 28 for 43 completion rate is a sign of growth or a symptom of over-reliance?
I don't know. That's a lot of passes. That's a good question. I did not expect that high volume of passing. I think it's just more of a symptom of the overall scheme, and we're just trying to spread things out a little bit, take advantage of things on the edges, especially considering our starting running backs out. We'll get to that in a minute, but I think that's how we're going to be more towards the air raid side of things as opposed to spreading the ball out with 10 carries over 3 backs and the quarterback.
Okay. With only 112 rushing yards, was the offensive line the main culprit?
Yeah, yeah. Short answer. Yeah.
Short sweet. Yeah.
Joe Jackson obviously struggled a little bit. He 5 yards carry, 11 carries, 55 yards, and I think he's going to share carries with Devon Rice, of course, and Devon Rice is emerging as maybe the top threat in that backfield. That'll be interesting to look at as we move forward into next week against Army and on into Arizona and the rest of Big 12 play after that.
I think you mentioned it last week, but I would like to see Devon Rice getting those first team carries this week in practice. I think in that Iowa State game, he showed better flashes than Joe Jackson. I think in this game, he obviously showed better flashes than Joe Jackson. Not saying that we don't like Joe Jackson, right? Like,
Joe
it's just
Jack.
Devon Rice is making the plays, and if he's making the plays right now, he needs to be the guy on the field.
Yeah, but Joe did have one very big play at the end, and we talked about getting these backs out in space. Game-winning touchdown was one of those plays. Shout out Joe Jackson. But
And
yeah, you're right. Devon Rice. I think he should have got some of those carries on that on the drive after he scored his second touchdown, and we took him off the field. At that point, he was the hottest player in the game by far.
yeah, and to your point, I think we could very easily have Joe Jackson and Devon Rice on the field at the same time.
Yeah, definitely. We didn't see a lot of that, but hopefully, moving forward, take a tight end out every now and then. We don't always need double tights, and let's get both backs out there. So give the defense a little more to think about.
All right, should the Cats have leaned more on the run to protect the lead?
I'm just kind of an old school guy, so philosophically, I always lean more on the run. But I'm a product of the late 20th century, so that makes sense. I know the game has changed dramatically since then. I still want to see us try to establish the run. We came out firing the ball, which if that's going to be our MO, that's fine. Because we need to get 43 attempts in every game. But that's going to make us very one dimensional. It's going to put Avery in some tight spots.
And was the run game abandoned too early, or was it never working to begin with?
It was working in spurts, but it was mostly ineffective.
Yeah, I think you may see something different next week. But we'll talk about that on our next pod with Devon Rice. I think they're still trying to figure out what they want to do with the absence of Dylan Edwards.
Yeah, and I think we were going to maybe try to lean more on our tight ends, and that's why we use a lot of this too, and even 3 tight end sets.
And that's kind of why I went in the pregame pod with, the receivers, Jace over 100, Tibbs over 100, and then Bradley over 50. I just thought that we were going to come out firing the ball.
Well, you almost hit 2 out of those 3. Bradley had 46 yards on 5 catches, and then Tibbs 3 for 55. Jace got over 100, which is nice to see. What was not nice to see is when he did the limestone leap.
Yeah.
No one is getting on their feet.
They just let him sit there.
Where's the love? Where is the passion from the fans? We talked about this a little bit. There's a little complacency that's been setting in, especially outside the student section. Don't like to see that. That used to be the Saba zone over there, that southwest corner. That corner used to be, what's the right word? Lit.
Electric.
Electric. Yeah. Not so much anymore. So I'm going to challenge the fans, especially those ones down the lower rows. They may just not understand. Maybe they don't have a lot of experience. Most people know you don't want to sit below row 15 at the bill. The sight lines are terrible. So maybe those folks just picked up some late tickets and just didn't know. But pat on the shoulder pads, tap on the helmet, no ear holes, of course. Where are we at? Show them some love.
Yeah, kind of crazy. If that were 2012, it would have been a different story. I'm sure if it were 1998 to 2003, it would have been a different story as well. Like, bring some passion to the games, guys.
Right, I get it. You're playing North Dakota, but like Coach Kleiman said, we're not going to take this for granted. We could easily be like Oklahoma State was last year. Don't want to be there. We need the fans, man. It starts the fence, especially at home.
We don't want to be
5 of these years, 6 of these a year. Let's go.
We don't want to be anything like FSU. We don't want to be anything like Oklahoma State. Nothing like that. We need to win games, especially this program.
No complacency.
All right, segment 2, mind over matter, about mental state and toughness. Did Kansas State show mental resilience or mental fragility in the fourth quarter collapse?
A little bit of both. A great learning opportunity. Going to sharpen the edges probably moving forward. Every team needs to go through what this team's going through to start the season. And not necessarily at the start of the season, but at some point during your season. And you hope that you don't lose 3-point games, that you win them. And, we're on the losing into one and on the winning side of the other. But, yeah, a little bit of mental fragility that we're overcoming. but that's part of the process, and that's part of the purpose behind intercollegiate athletics.
Yeah, I do think it could be better for this to happen early, obviously, and learn from your mistakes earlier in the season rather than later in the season.
Right, like
Although,
last year.
although we did see Ohio State, lose to Michigan, and they made that
Right.
run last year, but
Win in
that
November.
may have been just good timing on their
Right.
part.
Win in November, win in December, and on into January. It's just like the Chiefs do every year. You let Buffalo win in October or November, but you don't let them win in January. We need to have the same mentality moving forward.
All right, how do you interpret Avery Johnson's sideline leadership? Was it rallying or revealing deeper cracks?
I didn't pay much attention to it, to be honest with you, because I'm locked in on the defense when he's on the sideline or the special teams. All I can say is that what I mentioned in that first week that he's poised when he's talking to the media. What he's saying makes a lot of sense. It's very practical, and you just hope that that's being reflected in the locker room, and that it's not just some sort of front or presentation. And I believe that it is genuine, and I think you're starting to see that leadership emerge through the adversity, and he's some might say he's living up to the state motto.
Ad astra per aspera.
Yeah, aspirin, something like that. Yeah. Give me two of those and call me in the morning after a game like this.
Yeah, I'd like to see Avery Johnson get fired up constantly. So I want to see him making those big plays. I want to see him not only him, man. I want to see this whole offense just start getting fired up, getting the O line fired up. After any good play, I want to see them, being that leader, telling those guys, we did good, or even we did terrible on this play. I want to see him yelling at other guys,
I'm
and,
gonna
and the guys need to know that that's all part of the teamwork.
Yeah, I agree with you again to a certain extent. I'm gonna disagree with the Avery part. I think what makes him a good leader is his poise, and when you don't show, when you don't get overly emotional during great times nor terrible times, then that you can say 1,000 things without saying anything at all. And I think that's Avery's mo. Now, as far as the skill guys go, or like even the guys up front on the offensive line, you want to see that. You definitely want to see that, and hopefully we'll see more of it in the future moving forward.
So think you can have some poise and fire mixed in there together.
Be very selective as the leader of the team about when
Want to
you
release that
decide
fire.
to do that. Yeah, and be very tactful when you do it. Most of the time, he's leading with poise and sort of outward calmness, even though we know inside, obviously, the nerves are fired.
Was the team emotionally prepared for a dogfight, or did they mentally check out after going up 10?
They weren't prepared to start the game. You want to speak to that?
Yeah, they weren't prepared at all to start the game. It seemed like they're coming in thinking they're just going to win this game, that there's not going to be any kind of fight. The only guy out there that I see with any kind of fight is going to be Quay Moss, just really getting hyped up, looking like he wants to be out there to play. Some of these other guys, unfortunately, just lack of effort.
Yeah, I agree with Quay Moss. He brought some attitude to that defense. Also up front, of course, our boy Toby had another sack, so he's not on pace for 30 sacks anymore, or 36, but he is still on pace for 1.5 times 12. So you do the math. That's 18 kids, 18 sacks.
Yeah, I mean, in our pregame, we mentioned that we have to come out with a statement. We have to come out with that fire, come out hyped up, and we just didn't see any of that.
Yeah, that's inexcusable. I mean, we're coming off a tough loss out there in Dublin. I get it. You got some jet lag or whatever, but at the end of the day, that's just an excuse. I would have been so pissed off that you would have not have had to give me a pregame speech. I mean, we looked like we were sleepwalking through the first quarter. That's to me, that's inexcusable. They did have a returning offensive coordinator, returning quarterback who are clearly on the same page and ready to attack us. But the head coach is new, and they're an FCS team. No disrespect, to North Dakota, but this should not have been a 3-point game.
Yeah, no way. All right, so we saw Avery calling out leaders post game, like in our quote.
Nobody by name, right?
No, just the leaders. What does that tell you about the
They
locker
know who
room?
they are. They know who they are. He's not mentioning anybody by name. He's talking to the captains, and he's talking to the coordinators, and he's talking to the strength coach, and I don't know, the guy who's making the food up on the table or whatever they call it, the training table. So he's talking to the people who are responsible for those key moments during the process, and he's wanting them to step up their game. And accountability is number one on anybody's list of important values. Hold yourself accountable so no one else has to. And then Avery's not talking about this in post game, but he's
Hmm.
talking about individuals who made great plays to beat teams handily. That's what we want to hear.
I think it tells me he's stepping up. It tells me there may be a fracture, right?
A schism,
A schism.
a skizzy.
You don't call out your own guys unless you feel like they're not locked in. And it may be a reciprocal thing, right? Where he seems so cool, calm, and poised, which, he is, that they may look at that and not see that fire. And then, the opposite. He in his mind is probably thinking, like, I got this, like, I'm fired up. But I know how to stay poised,
Yeah.
and he's not seeing that fire from everybody else.
Right. He's having to worry about his teammates instead of focusing in on his job. And his job's already complicated enough. So I agree with you.
And Coach Kleiman praised Avery's poise, but where was the poise in the defensive play calling?
Yeah, a little suspect, no doubt, but we put ourselves in some rough situations. So
North Dakota diced us up with 364 total yards.
it's 24 catches for 252, averaging 10 and a half a catch. We are not going to be able to get away with that against better Big 12 opponents. That's going to
And
be 350, 400. That's not going to be 252. And time possession is going to be way in favor.
that's going to be 500 total at least.
No doubt. Time possession this game was 31 to 28. We lost that by 3 minutes, and that's a big indicator of what's happening on both sides of the ball.
Um, I think here it doesn't help when your special teams hurts you with the fumble and obviously the roughing the kicker.
No more roughing. No more.
So that's a couple of issues that's just keeping our defense on the field when they should not be on the field. Easy mistakes to clean up.
Yeah, no doubt about
Should
it.
be easy mistakes to clean up.
One of the most frustrating things about special teams was that Nuremberg fumbles the ball and we lose possession, of course, and then he returns the next kickoff. Get him out of the game. All right, it's not personal. Give him the opportunity to gather himself. Give the next guy the chance, and we know who that next guy is. Put him on kick return. Let him do his thing. No
And
disrespect to Nuremberg, he'll get more opportunities, but
and I don't
the
mind
next kickoff should not have been that opportunity.
and I don't mind, like you said, keeping Nuremberg off on the field, but not after that fumble, right? You put him in the next kickoff return, and maybe you put him in the different spot, and then bring a different guy up into that first position. Either way, I do think Nordenberg is good. I like him. He's a redshirt freshman. He's pretty fast,
Agreed.
and I think that may have just been one of those mental freshman mistakes, right? He wants to get in the end zone every single time, but
Right.
sometimes you just got to call the fair catch, take the ball from the 25. You can't be getting it to the 20, the 19. We're just losing easy yards doing that. He did have one big kick return for about 45,
He did.
50.
He did. But
But
put the guy in who's earned it, who's been there, who
yes,
hasn't gotten his opportunities. That should have been one.
hasn't fumbled.
Yeah. Looks very calm catching the ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially when there's no blocking happening on those punt returns either.
Right. Yeah, that's a big problem too. We need to clean that up. It's really a systemic breakdown on those punt and kick returns.
It
That's troubling.
seems like we're trying to block these kicks when we should just be, playing like a safe punt return and bringing guys back to block for Sterling Lockett.
Hey, one last point on this about our mistakes. This is a narrative that I think is kind of ridiculous. Maybe it's more of a Bill 2.0 narrative, but if you go back and look at those teams in the 90s, they made a ton of mistakes. There were games where they had over 10 penalties for hundreds of yards, and they still blew out their opponents. Part of what made them great was their aggressiveness, and that goes back to what I was talking about. Make your mistakes because you're being too aggressive, not because you lack confidence. And I'm just kind of tired of that narrative. It's not true. So we do have a lot of discipline and a lot of respect for Bill in that regard, but there were teams that won 11 games and made a ton of mistakes, especially early in the season.
And that's why Bill 2.0 was better.
Yeah, they made a lot fewer mistakes, no doubt about it. But they also had Colin Klein behind center, so he's
He
highly
didn't really fumble the ball.
So,
All right, let's talk about Jerry Kaminsky, your boy. North Dakota's QB ran for 2 touchdowns, threw for another.
hey,
It's
savvy
not just a
veteran,
gap.
man.
That's a canyon in
He's
our
a savvy
defensive
veteran.
scheme.
He looked confident, and he was on the same page as his receivers. They were finding holes in the zone all day, and that's got to be cleaned up. And we got a good test there with a team that's formidable because of their experience.
And that's the difference. It's just confidence and preparedness, while we're coming out there with lack of confidence and unprepared, it seems like.
But we're getting there, and we have to go through this fire to get to that point. This is how you learn how to avoid those mistakes in November. Make them in late August.
Yes. So let's move on to a little bit of coaching strategy. Was Coach Kleiman too conservative with the play calling in the second half?
No, no, he was not. Just there's some personnel issues still, I think, and some continuity over time issues or lack thereof. We're our own worst enemy sometimes.
Yes.
Go back to my point with the freshman running back. Why we take him out after he just scored 2 touchdowns? He's not even on the field. Like, that's fine if we want to get Joe Jackson some looks. Well, let's put both of them out there. Maybe we just weren't ready for that. I don't know.
And when you put both of them out there, they're going to think it's going to go to Devon Rice, and then you give it to Joe Jackson, right? It's that eye candy.
Right. Instead of just a blocking tight end that everybody knows just out there to block.
And to play off that, too, in the second half, the third quarter, we had, over 120 some yards, I believe, and they had -10. And
yeah,
obviously that's not how the whole game should have went, but that was a better look of what it could have been.
Would have loved to be a fly on the wall in that locker room at halftime.
Yeah.
You gotta carry that through the end.
And I think the difference there is the special teams in the first half was really, really brought us down. So we did see a glimpse of what we could be.
Yeah.
Right? That looked like the team in the third quarter, just the third quarter.
Yes, sir.
That looked like the top 25 team that we won.
Agreed.
So
gotta do it for 4 quarters.
Yes, we got to string that together now.
Especially when you see TCU later on this season, or any of these other
Utah,
teams.
Baylor on the road.
Is TCU actually on our schedule? I don't think they are.
Yes, they are. We play them in Manhattan.
That's right.
Utah.
You know what TCU stands for? Do you know, Al?
Trash Can University.
Trash Can University. I want you to do me a favor on your Windows machine right now, fans. All right? I want you to go to the bottom right-hand corner. Slide your recycle bin over there. Right-click on it. Edit. Put TCU. All right? Thank me later. Just put all your trash in that can, man.
University.
Just put it all in there. Get rid of it.
Why did the secondary allow multiple deep completions in key moments? Specifically, those 4th and long plays?
I just feel like that they, like I mentioned earlier, they had good rapport. They worked together. Those are veteran receiving core. That's a veteran quarterback, veteran OC with a new head coach. But there's some continuity there that I think contributed to that. Our secondary's it's gelling, and it's going to take time.
Yeah, and I think for us, it's some of that like prevent defense, bend but don't break. So we're playing like zone, leaving some gaps open, and trying not to make the veteran guy make a pass.
And sometimes some miscommunication too, but I think eventually it's going to pay off. And the more plays you make a team run, the more opportunity they have to turn the ball over. That's the philosophy behind bend don't break. Run 15 plays, try not to turn it over.
Here's Here's a good one. Were the defensive backs playing too soft, or were they outmatched?
I didn't pay much attention to the corners, to be honest with you. I couldn't tell you. I just know that there's maybe some communication and some continuity issues.
Yeah, I don't think they're soft by any means. I know Zayshawn Rich played a pretty good game. Zayshawn had three total tackles, all solo tackles, and one tackle for loss. So I thought he played pretty decent.
Yeah, you never want your corner to have the most tackles. That's for sure. That's usually indicates some problems in the secondary, or you know, not problems in the secondary, but problems up front.
Then where I was going with this is the Donovan McIntosh Clemens. What do you think was going on there? Why is Clemens in the game and Donovan McIntosh isn't seeing as much time?
Yeah, that's a good question. You brought this up. Um, I need to see more on these two guys before I can make that sort of comparison. But I mean, you're saying that you think McIntosh should be getting more reps. Tell us why.
I think he should be getting more reps because he got the reps against Iowa State and he played well against Iowa State. So I don't understand why you would put a new guy and Clemens in there against North Dakota unless you just think we're going to win. You think we're going to blow them out. I don't know. Maybe Donovan McIntosh is hurt or there's a locker room issue. Not sure, but Donovan McIntosh to me seems like the guy that should have been playing when we're in a close game against North Dakota, a formidable opponent, even though they're in the FCS.
Agreed, man. Agreed. If it's that close in the fourth quarter. Hey, our boy, I'm looking at the box score, the stats. Our boy Louis Rodriguez.
Luis,
Louis!
Luis,
El Rod! 8 for 8 on extra points, 1 for 1 on field goals. Blue Groza Award. Put him on
yes,
the watch list.
Luis,
Put him on the watch list. And next
all
time we
right.
have a chance to kick a 50-yard field goal, let him have the opportunity.
All right, let's go with some stats driven questions.
Is there
Kansas State gave up 364 total yards. How concerning is that? I think
very
we talked
concerning?
about this.
Very concerning. We need our defense to hold opponents under 300, especially opponents that we should be significantly better than. But with that being said, I think this, like I said, I think this offensive attack from North Dakota, the Fighting Hawks, they were ready and they were prepared. They were experienced enough to get it done, and they very narrowly missed maybe the second biggest upset in Bill Snyder family stadium history.
Yeah, I'm gonna repeat kind of what you said earlier. 364 total yards. If this happens against TCU, they're gonna throw for 500 against us,
Yeah,
and
no
that's
doubt.
just
Yeah,
plain
they're
and
going to throw it
simple.
more than 39 times. They're going to throw it 65 times.
And then Barnes could run for 100 against
Yeah,
us as well.
and the time possession is going to be 40 to 20 something. So,
So that needs to be cleaned up. It's FCS. You'd feel more comfortable around 250 here. 250 would be fine.
I am pleased with the front though. They only put up 102 yards rushing, so our
Yes, the
rushing.
D line did very well. We had one, two, three more sacks. We are leading the country in sacks because we played two games.
Who is the player leading the country in sacks?
Let's see here. Sacks. It's actually Byron Turner and Toby Asunsanmi.
That's our guy,
Also,
lavender.
Wendell Gregory from Okie State, and
Wendell,
then
who
Wendell Gregory.
cares?
Yep. And Cody Stuffelbean, number 4,
Stuff him.
with 2. Which I want to see more Stuffelbean, Stufflebutter.
He played good game.
He did play a good game.
He did.
Stufflebutter had 2 total tackles, and they were both sacks. Nice. North Dakota converted for 7 of 13 third downs.
Mm.
Was that a schematic failure or a toughness issue?
7 of 13. I mean, if a couple of those go the other way, you're looking at 5 for 15. That's not terrible. From a defensive perspective, what you would like to see is maybe a few more takeaways.
7-13. I mean, in our pregame, we wanted to be at 7-13, but we were at 5-13. So
What about fourth down?
fourth down, we went 2 for 3. We went 2 for 3.
We went for it on fourth down again.
They went 1 for 2.
Deep inside our own territory. Early in the game. I know it was 4th and 1, and I know we made it. Please don't do that again. Like, ever. Don't ever do that again. For any reason. Unless it's the last drive of the game and we have to. Don't do that in the first half, or you will get compared to a coach from the mid-2000s. Stop doing that. Stop. If that goes the other way, it's World War III out there at the Bill, man. The fan base is not. Stop doing it. Please, whoever's calling those plays and making those decisions, enough.
Yeah, we just need to be more creative with first, second, and third down. Maybe there's a lot of things that could have happened in this game. Maybe run the ball more at the beginning of the game.
Yes, stop putting ourselves in that situation. Yes.
But there's got to be, like, we have so many weapons that we're not utilizing. And Kleiman said it in his presser on Monday. He doesn't want to open up the playbook. And it's like, dude, we're tied to a FCS team right now. Come on. Like, it doesn't matter if it's open or closed. If you're better than the other team, just open it up and call the plays.
And win the damn game. Don't play scared not to get injured.
Yeah.
Play 100% every down. Because you get 12 games. That's it. We're not playing scared because we're afraid we're going to get injured. Okay? We're going 100%. And if we got to run Avery more and that happens, so be it. All right? We're not playing scared. We're not playing tentative because we're worried about injuries.
Okay, I'm going to go over my grades.
Yes, sir.
And then I'll have you go over your grades. So start thinking of your grades, and then we'll go over some of the betting that did not hit. And then we'll finish up here. So for me, my grade card, quarterbacks, I give a B+ for Avery's heroics. He did almost throw 3 interceptions, but let's be clear that 2 of those were on the same drive. Okay.
Bang, bang.
So if he would have thrown the first one, the other one would have never have happened. But we got lucky. He did not throw an interception.
Yeah, one of them would have been a pick, and it turned into a touchdown.
All hypotheticals, right?
Miracles happen every day.
Didn't matter. Didn't throw an interception. That's what we want.
True.
B+.
At the end of the day, it's a dub. Didn't throw a pick. 3,500 yards in 12 games. 30 touchdowns, no picks. That's the pace. I'm okay with that. A-.
Running backs.
A's for Avery.
A- for Avery?
Yeah,
okay.
A-. Over 300 yards, man. No pick.
All right, running backs, C, no punch. When we needed Joe Jackson, he was there. When we needed Devon Rice, he was there, but not in the first half.
Yeah, I'll give him a C-, because they did score 3 times. But if you look at the overall statistics, not great. But again, that's more a result of the play calling and the lack of opportunities early in drives.
Receivers, solid B. Jace Brown, John Tibbs, I thought killed it, played well.
Yeah, this is a bright spot. I agree, man. I would go with a B+ on this. Tibbs had, 5 catches, I believe. Let me go back here to the box score, and then 3 on the other end. No, Tibbs had 3 for a touchdown, 3 for 55, and Bradley had 5 for 46. So that's promising. You want to see the wide receiver 2 and 3 get a lot of touches, especially if you're going to throw the ball 43 times.
And when you look at this stat sheet for Kansas State receiving, it's like, what are we doing, right? Because you have Tibbs, 3 catches, right? 18.3 average. Will Swanson.
Down the field.
Will Swanson, 2 catches, 23 average. Jaron Bradley, 9.2. Jace Brown, 9.1. Then we get to Devon Rice, 1 catch, 27 yards. Garrett Oakley, 10.5 yards a catch. We have the weapons. Why aren't we utilizing them?
And if you're not going to run the ball early in the drive, first, second down, then you don't have the opportunity to get the front 7 up and then hit them with play action. And we don't see that a lot. That was a trademark of previous eras. And you can't do that when you don't run the ball early in the drive.
All right, O-line, F. Watch the video on
Oh,
Twitter.
suspect.
Watch the video on Twitter.
A
You'll
lot of work to do.
understand why.
Well, yeah, just for that play alone. That was the third part of fight or flight. Not just freeze.
Yeah, it was bad.
Maybe he thought the freeze play was on. I don't know.
Well, I mean,
Was it third and four or something?
once you miss your block, you can't really do much, man. Like, I mean, if you go upfield, you're an ineligible receiver. So
You keep. You're right. You keep yourself in the play though. If Avery
yeah,
scrambles, then you don't crack
exactly.
back, but you can set a screen. I mean, if it were 1995, you crack back and decleat somebody, but you don't give up on the play or just freeze. that that shows a lack of presence and a lack of confidence both.
And while we're on the O line, we haven't seen anything from Talalale, which I don't know what's going on there. He's like 370 pounds, so I think that may be able to help us. He's from USC. I don't know. He's a sophomore. Maybe he's just too young. But I my thing is that if they keep performing like this, we need to give the younger guys a shot. Maybe Will Howard's younger brother, Ryan.
Yeah,
Maybe
100%.
Massey. Some of those guys.
Yeah, it's a weak point right now. It's got to be fixed, or it's going to be a mediocre season at best.
All right, D line. What do you got for D line?
I like them, but I've been high on the D line for a couple weeks. Again, they're holding opponents' rushing totals down. They are getting to the quarterback. A couple strip sacks already in the first couple games. Collectively, many sacks. Toby's the leader up front. We need other guys to emerge, though. Stufflebean, of course, got the experience. But we need the other side of that D line, I think, to step up just a little bit.
Yeah, I'll give him a C plus, B minus, C plus. They had 3 sacks. I think they're one of our stronger points, and I think they're going to be consistent this year.
Yeah.
Linebackers,
Yep. Linebackers.
what's your grade?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, we have Romaine and Purnell in there, of course, almost every play, and they're good up front. But I wonder how effective, especially Purnell, is when he has to go out in coverage. There's going to be times where we're just going to have to play 5 defensive backs and maybe walk up a fourth guy up to the line. But we'll see, man. No grade, not a big opinion on that at this point.
I'll give him a B minus. Romaine had 10 total tackles. Desmond Purnell had another 6 total tackles, 16 total tackles.
Yeah,
I
you'd
think
like to
that's
see a
really
few
good.
more, maybe a few more for loss. I mean, tackle for loss. We just had 1.5 out of those two guys.
It's the third guy there that's really pulling that grade down a little bit. We saw a little bit of Gabe Powers in the game, which was a good sign.
Right,
Rex Van Wy is in there as
right.
well.
Mm-hmm.
Austin Newsome is a guy we want to see in
Yeah,
there. We need him to get healthy
agreed.
sooner
Agreed.
rather than later.
No doubt about it.
And secondary, I'm giving a D plus.
Secondary, pretty bad. No doubt. Your boy, you called him out last week. Call him out again.
Yeah, VJ Payne.
Bring the
Where's,
pain.
where's the pain, man? Gotta bring the pain,
You got to
bring
bring
that
that pain.
fire, bring that passion, be the leader on the defense.
We love to see safeties who can command the dudes in front of them and who can make game-changing plays in the secondary. And that's you, VJ. That's you.
Yeah, nothing against Clemens, man. I haven't seen much of Clemens. Just that last game, I didn't like what I saw from him. I think McIntosh needs to be in there. That's just me. We talked about
100%.
that.
I agree 100%.
All right, Benny. Final
Yeah.
one. This one should be pretty easy. Special teams.
Who's the special teams coach?
A, B,
Who is
C,
it?
D,
We
or F.
got personnel problems. We got problems with blocking schemes on returns. We got more problems than Limp Bizkit at Woodstock 99.
Ooh, it's a lot of problems.
99 of them. And
Yeah.
women are none of them.
That kick return turnover could have cost us the game. So that's all we got to say about that. Get it fixed. Get it fixed. Get a touchdown next week. Get some blocks.
We it doesn't look like we even have an opportunity because there's something happening on that kick return, on punt return specifically, that is not giving us an opportunity to catch a ball and return it.
And I called
The
it on
gunners
that
are right
roughing the
there.
kicker too.
They're right.
And you said what's the sign? What was the tell there that they're going to try to block the kick? And I thought it was obvious, man. Like I think we're trying to do that nearly every time in the game, and it's like just chill.
Probably shown some just return looks in the first couple punts, expecting that they'll punt 4, 5, 6 times, and then come with that if you need it later. But don't rough the kicker. I mean, that should be an easy thing to avoid.
All right, let's talk bets. Spread was K-State negative 24.5. We didn't even cover half of that.
Yeah, sorry if you bet the farm on that one. Not even close.
The over-under 52.5, 73. So if you took the over, congrats. That was pretty easy.
Yeah, I would have taken the over, but we didn't cover. Not even close.
And then if you bet the Cats to dominate, condolences to me. All right, how does missing that spread affect national perception?
Don't care. I do not care what anybody thinks about us. I don't. I really don't. All that matters is what the dudes in the locker room think about each other. That's it. Perception does not matter. Win the conference, get in the playoff, and prove it on the field. Rankings don't matter. They do not.
Yeah.
They do not matter. So stop talking about them.
Here's a good question. Was this game more offensive shootout or defensive collapse with that 73 combined points?
A defensive collapse. I mean, there were
Unfortunately.
and the ball was thrown 80 times between the two teams. I did not expect that. And that's more indicative of poor secondary play on both sides of the ball.
Did the drone show hype up the crowd enough to mask the on-field tension?
Well, it was after the game when we won. That drone show may have not been received as well had we not gotten down the field and thrown that touchdown pass to Joe Jackson at the end of the game. But there was at least one fan that I saw on the socials in the video. He was very concerned about the drone that the battery died that fell out of the sky. You want to tell us more about that?
It's battery. Battery.
I think it's the battery.
It's battery.
Hey, was anybody else out there like me after that part of the video? You're looking for the missing drone, and I think it ended up being right by the tooth of the Paw'dCat, right at the end. So if you go back and look at it,
Yeah, I think so. I think it was
the
outline of the Kansas as well.
Yeah, you can see it in spots. But after that happened, that's all I was looking for. Where's the missing drone supposed to be? More importantly, did anyone find the missing drone and return it to the athletic department or whoever the vendor was they hired to do this? Is there a reward out for the missing drone? And did it get shot down? Is this a conspiracy?
No.
You sure it's not some Nebraska fan hiding in the corn across the street?
Could be.
It's still bitter from 2002 or something? Maybe.
I thought the drone show was pretty elite. Paw'dCat slicing through the sky. I called it. We saw Willie, old school Willie, in the sky, but no Bill Snyder in the sky.
It kind of reminded me of back in the 80s when they had just like the light bulb scoreboards and they'd have to kind of animate it on a switchboard, but it was all just just light bulbs and white light. It kind of reminded me of that, but a lot bigger version up in the sky and in color.
Pretty cool. If we could have that constantly going through the game at night games, distracting the opponent, that'd be legit.
Maybe we get band director Trax up there to, program something special when we play KU. We're playing him on the road this year, but
next year.
Yeah, I mean, it would be his last year, so who cares, right? If you get in trouble. And thank you for your service. That's 30 years of excellence. That band came a long way, and those guys work hard. You always hear them on campus practicing up there at Memorial Stadium.
Next up, Army. If we play like this again, we're going to need more than drones to distract the fans.
Yeah, we're going to need drones to fight Army's drones. The old Army Corps, man. They're coming. It's Fort Riley Day. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready. We'll be back right after this with the breakdown and preview. Until then, stay fierce, stay purple, keep your eyes peeled.
You mob brothers.
Because the Paw'dCats are watching.
You mob. Go Cats.
And if you caught our pregame predictions, we'll own it. We were wrong. We'll still ride. with
We
the
make
Cats.
mistakes. We make mistakes. We're human. But we're 1-1. Let's make it 2-1 next week.
We still ride with the Cats.
Ride or die.
That concludes this episode of the Paw'dCats Sports.
See ya!
Postgame.
See ya!
Hey, yo, flip it over to side B.